Right now, Fox 5's Crime in the City. Here are this week's crimes across New York City. We begin in Manhattan's West Village, where a 43-year-old woman who was out for a morning run was attacked and raped in Hudson River Park.
This was a violent, horrific attack, but it appears some good old-fashioned police work may help ease some of those concerns this evening.
I only am on the West Side Highway or walking around during the daytime when there are a lot of other people around.
Caroline Basili is one of many runners in Hudson River Park now on alert. The NYPD says a 43-year-old female was jogging near Pier 45 when she was sexually assaulted around 5:30 Thursday morning.
I used to live on the Lower East Side, but here I always felt safe because there's other runners.
It's the West Village. I think you're safe. It's, a comfortable neighborhood environment.
Authorities say the male suspect approached the victim from behind, choked her, and then assaulted her. Police say he also robbed the victim, stealing her cell phone and credit cards before taking off. Paramedics took the victim to a local hospital for treatment of her injuries. Thursday afternoon, the NYPD says they took a person into custody.
We do have a suspect in custody. He has not yet been charged, but he was taken into custody a few hours later up near the Port Authority bus terminal.
Last spring, a woman was sexually assaulted in Hudson River Park during a Sunday morning run in late March. Authorities released this picture of the suspect whom they say approached the victim, choked her, then sexually assaulted her before taking off with her cell phone. Police say an arrest was never made and are investigating if there's any connection between the two attacks.
The violation and just the overall sense of not being able to do your morning run alone in a city that, should be safe, it just brings tears to my eyes.
That is the sense out here at the park, Stephen, which, as you can see, is still busy, still active. The crime tape is now down. A little bit more about the suspect from what we're learning. Late 20s to 30s, and here's what we mean by the good old-fashioned police work. The authorities are telling us that they sent out a blast, a screen image from one of the surveillance cameras around here, put it out to their officers that were in the area, in and around the 6th precinct, and an alert officer near the Port Authority bus terminal is the one who took the person into custody.
We now go to Rikers Island, where an inmate repeatedly stabbed a guard, according to the New York City Department of Correction.
What a frightening situation for that correction officer. We are told that he was conscious and he underwent tests here at Elmhurst Hospital. Now, this latest incident comes as the New York City Council continues to consider a bill that would ban solitary confinement. Rikers Island is back at the center of controversy after a correction officer was viciously stabbed by an inmate. The attack happened inside the Anna Am Cross Center right before 5 in the afternoon. The correction officers union says the officer was brutally stabbed about 15 times in the back of the head by an inmate. Sources confirm the inmate is Dennis Applegate, who was rearrested for the attack and was scheduled to be back in court tomorrow. DOC Commissioner Luis Molina, in a statement, says this was an unprovoked, heinous, and callous attack on one of our dedicated officers who was simply doing their job. In an unrelated incident, an inmate at the same jail facility died Monday. 26-year-old Gilberto Garcia is the 18th person to have died either in custody or shortly after being released. Garcia has been in pretrial custody on a robbery charge for nearly 3 years. A cause of death is still under investigation. The stabbing of the correction officer renewing calls over a bill that would ban punitive segregation, also known as solitary confinement. Supporters of the ban say solitary confinement is inhumane. DOC Commissioner Molina has agreed the practice is inhumane, but has stated in the past that the City Council bill goes too far, adding that solitary confinement protects other inmates and staff from violent acts. And Mayor Adams says he opposes this bill if the New York City Council does vote and go ahead and pass it. Well, the mayor could potentially use his veto power.
Over in Jamaica, Queens, 3 people were hospitalized after a shooting outside of a deli.
A midday triple shooting outside a Jamaica deli left 3 people hospitalized Sunday. Police say 2 men were arguing inside the Long Island Express deli, and then shots were fired. A 29-year-old man was shot in the buttocks, a 24-year-old man shot in the stomach, and a 21-year-old woman was also shot in the lower back. It's unclear if she was a bystander, but all 3 victims are expected to survive.
It's horrible. It's horrible, horrible in here.
Longtime residents in the neighborhood say crime has gotten worse over the past 2 years.
Safe? Not anymore. It changed a lot after the COVID.
Meanwhile, police say the shooting happened before 2 p.m. on the corner of 91st Avenue and Sutphin Boulevard, steps from the Long Island Railroad Jamaica station. Crime scene tape went up the block, covering scattered debris left behind.
It's scary, especially when you have to work and come home late at night to wait for the bus, or you want something to eat, you're scared to even go in there.
According to the city's crime statistics, there's been 24 shootings this year in the 103rd precinct, which covers Jamaica, an alarming number for people who live and commute here. Police are investigating a possible motive in the shooting and looking for the suspected shooter. They're asking anyone with information to call their confidential hotline.
Up in Harlem, a man stabbed a subway rider in the back after the victim refused to argue with him.
A day after he was stabbed in the back while getting a Metro card at a subway station in Harlem, Taufik, who asked we not show his face on camera and only wanted to give us his first name, says he had no contact with the suspect at all.
He walked to me. He said, "Why are you looking at me? What's happening?"
According to police, the attack happened on Friday just before 4:30 a.m. Taufik was on a southbound A-line platform at the 125th Street and St. Nicholas Avenue train station when he was approached by a man who police say attempted to engage him in a verbal dispute. The 54-year-old Nigerian man who migrated to the U.S. 6 years ago says he was on the clock. He works security for the New York City Housing Authority. He went to the train station to get a Metro card when he noticed a man urinating against the wall. He says he turned around and continued walking. That's when he says the suspect started walking towards him.
He said, "Why are you looking at me like that? I'm talking to you. You don't talk to me. Why?"
When he told you, "Why are you looking at me?" did you answer?
I didn't answer anything.
Out of nowhere, he says he felt the suspect right behind him and a knife in his back.
When I will check, but it just ran to the top of the train station.
The individual took off running. Taufik shouted, "Police, police, police," but claims no one paid him any attention.
Yeah, nobody helped me. That is why. Nobody helped. That is why.
Are you upset about that? That nobody, knowing that there were people on the platform watching what was going on, that no one came to help you?
Yeah, this country, people mind their own business.
Taufik was taken to the hospital where he received multiple stitches. Police are now looking for this man in connection to the stabbing. Taufik still can't believe this happened to him. However, he tells me he is not afraid to get back on the subway, saying he will take the train to and from work every day, just that now he will watch his back.
In Forest Hills, Queens, a mother was stabbed to death and stuffed into a duffel bag. The man accused of killing her has pled guilty.
Prosecutors say David Benola stabbed Orsolia Gal more than 50 times inside her Forest Hills home, then stuffed her body in a duffel bag. Investigators say the two had an on and off again affair for 2 years and got into some type of argument. He also worked inside the house on several occasions. Benola faces 25 years in prison when he is sentenced on November 16th.
And finally, we go to the Flatiron District in Manhattan, where former New York City Transit Authority President Sarah Feinberg was reportedly randomly punched in the face by an unknown assailant. Sources tell Fox 5 that on October 20th at around 1:15 p.m., Feinberg was standing on the corner of 6th Avenue and West 21st Street in the Flatiron District when an unidentified man approached and punched her with a closed fist. The man then fled the scene. Feinberg reportedly suffered swelling to her face, but did not seek medical attention. That's this week's Crime in the City.